And we're rolling.
Ha! Good evening, and you have arrived in the drive-thru, no less. Welcome to the Attitude Shift. I'm Donna M. Butler. I am your driver for tonight. We're waiting for another passenger to come along, but in the meantime, I'm going to say hello to the lovely Siobhan Shaw. Love the earrings, darling. You're rocking them tonight. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm all like kind of shimmery and everything. I thought I'd get dressed up for our special guest, Robert Ferguson. He's the author and creator of Diet Free Life. I mean, I can't even say it and put those words together. But Diet Free Life, dietfreelife.com, and he's with us tonight, all the way from Ventura, California, right on the West Coast, just down the street from me.
Down the street from you. 3,000 miles from me. Welcome to the show. How are you doing, Robert?
I am absolutely fabulous. It's good to be here on the show.
Well, it's great. I think Ariel is sliding in some kind of way, trying to fit in the car, Siobhan. I think we'll get her in there any minute now. I'm so excited about this show because I'm about to eat my dinner. Tonight I'm eating in the car and talking about diets. And before we get started, is it okay if I eat these tonight, Robert?
Well, you know what? You can eat eggs, whatever you want to eat, but we'll go into the details of that.
And there's Ariel. Hi, Ariel.
Hi, please excuse me. I'm very sick tonight. So, hi.
Well, you look pretty good for somebody who's very sick, so
Very sick.
We'll go easy on you, though, Ariel, and welcome to the Attitude Shift, and take your rightful place as a co-pilot and co-navigator. Meet Robert Ferguson.
Hi, Robert.
Well, nice to meet you. Are you lying on your back, or are you standing up?
I am sitting up. I was laying on my back all day, actually.
Okay, well, rest is best.
Rest is best like that.
So, let us sleep in a worm dieting is out, correct, Robert? Like, we don't have to. If you've taken a look at our Facebook page or the promos, there's this lady eating a lettuce leaf. You can't see the worm, but basically, you know, we don't have to do that anymore, right? Like, that's not the way to lose weight, correct?
That is not, but unfortunately, as many of us are aware, the conventional way of losing weight is to deprive yourself or restrict yourself from food. But there is a new sheriff in town, and his name is Robert Ferguson.
All right. So I can't eat these Cheetos then. I'm going to open these Cheetos, so yeah. We can't eat these Cheetos. So, Robert, I want to ask you.
No, wait a minute. The only reason he's on tonight is because he said that you could eat fast food.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, and you know, we can talk about it. You can have every dietitian, every nutritionist, every physician, bring them all, and let's have an open discussion. And when we're done, and this is not coming from a pompous place, it's coming from a compassionate place, they would have to agree with the fact that you can eat fast food and lose weight, and you can eat processed food and lose weight. There's a way of doing it. Unfortunately, they don't have the information and that's not a bad thing. They just aren't aware. And so we've helped thousands of people eat fast food, eat processed food. And the reason we say that, because I'm all about whole foods and close to nature and, you know, vegetables and whole grains. I love that. But the reality is this: not everyone can afford to buy organic. And not everyone has access, based on roads, based on finances, to get to the store and get certain foods that most people categorize as healthy. So my whole belief is meet people where they are and show them how to make the most of their situation. And that's where all that came from. So if you're going to go to McDonald's, for instance, you can get a fillet of fish, that's 390 calories. You can get a side salad with organic Newman's Own salad dressing. That's about 50 calories. That's 450 calories, and that's a fat-burning meal. So I didn't say go to McDonald's and eat the fillet of fish, get a side of cookies, get the supersized fries, and a large shake. There's a way of making it work, and that's what I do.
Chocolate shake.
That's awesome. A chocolate shake, no less. So I'm going to ask because as we start, well, we're, 2 months into the new year, and over half the people that I know that have said, I'm going to diet, they're all off the diets.
That's right.
And they're all, right, I don't know a one that is still on their diet. And they are doing exactly opposite of what you're saying. They're starving themselves. Why is that in our head that if we don't eat, we're going to lose weight?
Okay.
Why do we think that?
I'm going to set up the answer with this. You have a lot of people who are uninformed, and they're being educated by those who are misinformed. So we have a weight of confusion. And I can say that because at the end of the day, it really is about nutrition intelligence. Intelligence meaning we have the ability to learn. Nutrition meaning how much do we really know about nutrition? So I know about nutrition because that's my training. And I know how to make it work for people who want fast food, organic food, or not. And when you look at it, let's say look at sugar. A lot of people say sugar's bad, sugar's bad. Well, did you know that broccoli has sugar in it? Did you know that agave nectar has sugar in it? Did you know that honey has sugar in it? Most people say, yeah. Did you know that collard greens have sugar in it? Any carbohydrate is made up of sugars. And there's different types of sugars, and those different types of sugars are metabolized totally different in the body. So the sugar's not bad, it's the amount of sugar that we consume at one time. And is what we consume with the sugar that plays the bigger role in whether or not you gain weight. So at the end of the day, if I want to eat bread, if I eat with the fries, I'm going to add inches to the thighs. But if I really want the bread, then don't eat the fries. But if you want the fries, don't eat the bread. So now I can eat foods that I love, lose weight, and whenever you do that, in answer to your question, whenever you can lose weight eating the same foods that cause you to gain weight, you'll never gain the weight back. It's the people who totally walk away from foods they have a cultural relationship with, or they walk away from foods they know they're going to eat at the next family reunion. Well, you're going to find that again. And you're going to eat those foods again, and it's going to be a triggering event that's going to send you back to where you once were. And you're going to gain all the weight back because you deprived yourself. So nutrition intelligence is really the key. That's the answer to never dieting again.
Wow. So basically, I like how you said that because I've been on that roller coaster before, where I would just say, I'm not going to eat this anymore. I know it's bad for me. So, I love cheese and I love bread. I love, I can do that all day long.
Let me interview you. Why is that food bad for you?
See, I personally don't think it's bad. I'm going to be honest. I personally don't think it's bad for me. This is the first year that I've looked at myself and said, you know what? As long as I'm eating in moderation, as long as I'm getting some type of physical, exercise, water, and drinking water, that, you know what? I'm okay with how I look. I don't want to be pencil thin. It wouldn't look right on me to be pencil thin. And I'm happy. So if I want to eat my extra thick cheese sandwich or my bag of Cheetos, I'm not going to deprive myself.
Well, I have a friend who's 113 years old, okay? And he lives in Phoenix, Arizona, actually in Mesa. And I recently did an interview with him because I wanted to document like this guy's life. And he was born in 1901, and this is his secret. Right, lives by himself, exercises every day, cooks and feeds himself. I mean, God, it's unbelievable when you see him. But he says obedience and moderation is the key. So obedience means doing what you know instead of widening the gap between what you know and what you do. Right, because we all know that drinking more water is helpful to us compared to drinking more soda. Right, so we know that. And then he says moderation, meaning if you want those Cheetos, eat the Cheetos. But you already said it. I'm just going to eat them in moderation. I'm not going to go buy a 5-pound bag of Cheetos, but I can still have my Cheetos. So I'm with you. I'm with you all the way. And there you go.
Compared to this size?
This is in my bedroom. This is bad.
Yeah, that's a big bag right there.
That is. So I hear people say that they eat for comfort. that true, or is that just something is that one of those lies we tell ourselves?
Well, you know, you're from Louisiana, right? So you know about,
well, yeah.
Okay, well, you know about comfort foods, right? I grew up in Indiana, and everything around me was food, and around the food was also great conversations. So I grew up in a home where the best conversations I had with my mom and my sister took place in the kitchen and oftentimes around food. So when I'm away from them, yes, food gives me comfort because there's an association between food and those great times in my upbringing. Food is the celebration of life, and so to deny that, I mean, come on. Food is great. So anytime you deprive yourself from food, you're setting yourself up to eventually fall, guaranteed.
So we're overweight because, and I don't want to go there because I'm always the bad guy, Robert. So, okay, so.
I mean, that's a good one though to know why we're overweight because there's a biology that is taking place that causes our bodies to go into fat storage mode.
Okay. And that's what I was going to say. I mean, I know there's different reasons. I mean, I know there's, reasons why people can gain weight and can't lose it, and some people can drop it off like nobody's business, and some people don't even gain it. Can eat all they want, and I'm jealous of those people. But
that's wisdom right there.
but my thing is if this is something that we all can do, why aren't we doing it? Why isn't this out there for everyone? Why we have you on here? And
well, you know what? That's a great question, and it comes up all the time. If you and I had met and we were in a coffee store, this is exactly how the conversation would go. It's like, okay, Robert, this sounds way too good to be true. I totally hear you, but if this is really possible, why don't everyone know about it? Well, number one, there's a very popular television show that I was going to go on, and on this show, the producers were very excited to have me on, and they wanted me to do a segment on like eating fast food and achieving fat loss. Mm-hmm. They loved it. And then it went to the people who are the stars of the show, and they saw what shows were coming up. And they said, oh, no, we can't have him on the show. And I've done a lot of shows. And this is why they wouldn't have me on the show. It's because out of 250-something shows they put on a year, the majority of those shows are centered around weight loss. And if I went on their show and I demonstrated how you could eat fried food and eat fast food and lose weight, it would contradict everything they've been preaching for the last 4, 5, 6 years. So I've become more of a detriment, even though the information's sound and we can substantiate everything, it goes against what they've been saying, so even their books and everything would take a hit. So
I think those people need an attitude shift. They need to call us up, and we'll make sure that they become aware. And that's the thing is that almost sounds to me like some sort of propaganda machine where they only want one message to go out, and they're afraid, they're very fearful of a new message coming in that will shake things up a little bit and bring some maybe controversy, some questions, a different look at how to lose weight. And that's sad that they're not willing to bring that to the public, because they probably have a massive forum to introduce concepts to people.
Let me tell you this, and what I'm sharing with you is very, very true, and it's wide. It's not just that one show. Again, people protect their money, their positioning, and so the last thing they want someone to find out is that, oh, there's a different way. You know, imagine, okay, let's talk about Oprah Winfrey, for instance, right? And I love Oprah Winfrey, but Oprah, was on Barbara Walters recently. And Barbara said, hey, if there was one thing that you would like to accomplish, what's that one thing that's left? And Oprah said her weight.
Yes.
Here's the reality. There are people around Oprah and close to Oprah that know me and know my methodology. But if I got with Oprah and she achieved success based on what I'm sharing with you guys, Bob Green's out of a job, and a whole bunch of other people are out of a job because why did they take so long to introduce this guy to her? You see what that's what happens, because everyone's protecting their position, and so it stops when people don't get the truth.
I'm going to talk directly to Oprah right now. But you never know. You never know. So Oprah, I don't think that you're the type of person, from what I know from your personality on television, that you would turn around and fire Bob Greene and all your producers for not introducing you to Robert Ferguson. And the concept of being simply more aware of what you're eating, but allowing yourself the leeway to go to McDonald's, to go to that Greek souvlaki place that you love, or to, eat chocolate, or have some ice cream in the summer and stuff like that. Everything in moderation. So why would she fire those guys? So I think that they hopefully
I don't think I don't think her personality would do it, but you can see how some people's insecurities could block others from finding
exactly.
And I'll give you one really good example. We took recently 24 type 2 diabetics, and we looked at their blood sugar levels, first thing in the morning, right before they had their meals, after their meals, for like 3 to 4 days. And when we looked at them, we put them in categories. Red was blood sugar levels, they were out of control. Green, they were doing great. Yellow was in the middle.
Yeah.
And then we put them on my Diet Free Life program. And in 36 hours, no one was in the red, no one was in the yellow. Everybody was in the green.
Wow.
And now this is where it gets really good. Part of the study was they could only eat fast food for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and their blood sugar levels as type 2 diabetics was the best they had seen in years. And at the end of the 7-day period, everyone, all 100%, all 24, lost weight. And they ate everything from Big Macs to double cheeseburgers to French fries, the Egg McMuffins in the morning. They had pancakes and eggs. I just showed them how to eat those foods in the right combinations and the right amounts so that they could get these outcomes, which proves without a doubt that it can work for everyone. You can't argue with that.
Did they have other food in there, like bananas or?
No. They were 100. Like when we had them eating at Whole Foods and some of these close to nature places, which is great. They weren't losing weight, and their blood sugar levels were everywhere, and they were spending the money because people go into like a Whole Foods or a close to nature store, assuming that if I eat from here, I'm going to wake up leaner and healthier. Well, you can eat too much broccoli, right? Especially if the broccoli is laced with mayo and honey and sugar and
right
sweeteners in it.
Absolutely. Okay, so have people like Morgan Spurlock, who did that whole McDonald's documentary where he ate McDonald's food for a month, I think it was, and all his numbers were just out of whack, like cholesterol, and he was just about 1 foot in the grave. Has that scared people because that was way off the scale of how you would eat fast food?
Well, here's something. You ready for a real good shocker? The shocker is this: Spurlock lied quite a bit with regards to that movie. That was all propaganda, all of it, because he was asked to reveal his journals and he never did.
Yeah.
When they put together the rules. When they put together the rules of he had 3 rules in place, and when they put it to the test, there was no way that even if you were supersized every time, that you would consume the amount of calories that he claimed. So that was total propaganda. And so since that time, there's documentaries like Fathead where they only ate fast food, and the guy's in his like mid to late 40s. He loses weight in 28 days, his body fat improves, his cholesterol improves, his blood pressure improves, and then you have one of my friends who runs human nutrition in Kansas City University, and he went and ate only Twinkies every 3 hours, snacked on chips and Nabisco, and inside of 10 weeks he lost 28 pounds. And the whole goal was to demonstrate to people that McDonald's wasn't to blame. It's all about how you consume the food. But you didn't hear about Fathead, and you definitely didn't hear about the university, the professor, because that's not like cool enough. But to beat up on a giant like McDonald's, well, that's cool. And so I'm not like all pro McDonald's. My kids have never even eaten a Big Mac there. They've had ice cream, they've had French fries. I've had, I love my filet of fish, but that's the extent of it. But I don't like to see anyone being beat up on or being bullied. And even though they're a giant, when people put on this false perception and it's not real, it's like, you know what? That's not cool. I just want the truth. Let's be transparent and keep it real. And Spurlock did not keep it real.
That's interesting because, like you said, you have to be able to prove it. You have to be able to document. All we saw was this guy saying this is what he did, like Siobhan said, and looking really bad, doing that. So I'm going to ask you, so if I were to, on a typical day, would you, and I love the fish fillet, so that's my favorite thing at McDonald's. So could I go throughout this coming up year eating a fish fillet every day, French fries and a large vanilla shake every day?
No.
And I'm asking ahead of time.
I even know that.
Because so I can get away with that every single day.
I never said that. I said it's all about what you eat your foods with. So if you went to McDonald's every day for lunch and had a fillet of fish, okay, that's your meal. That's a fat-burning meal by itself.
Okay.
If you eat other things with it, you can go into what we call a food flood, and that's when you gain body fat.
Okay. So tell me about the food flood. That's cool. Tell me about.
So people, one of the misconceptions out there is that we believed in the late 70s, early 80s that consuming fat is what made us fat, right? So Senator George McGovern came out and basically demonized fat. Everybody jumped on it, and then our nutrition status and recommendations all changed. So the U.S. dietary guidelines were formed, and fat was the bad guy. So then you had people walking away from whole milk, and today we're consuming more skim milk. Studies demonstrate that families today who drink whole milk are leaner than families who drink skim milk. What's the difference? Well, when it's whole milk, it's going to have more fat, a little more protein compared to when it's skim milk, which is going to be higher in carbohydrates, which is sugar. So sugar is really the big culprit because we're consuming too much of it at one time, not fat. Fat's not making us fat. It's sugar. And when you look at all the things that have come into play, all the health clubs, all the health conscious meals, the First Lady has a program about eating healthier. Every year we get heavier and heavier and heavier because the dogma is fat is the problem. So you go to the store, low fat crackers, reduce fat this, low fat that, no fat over here. Well, when the fat goes down, the carbs go up. When the carbs are up, the sugar is up. And you start combining all those foods together, you're spiking that hormone called insulin. And the insulin, which is a great hormone, becomes a bad hormone, and you start storing. And then it throws every other, well, not every hormone, but it throws a lot of other hormones out of whack, which makes it harder for someone to lose weight. So when you eat the fillet of fish by itself, that's not too many carbs. And you have a good amount of protein. And as a meal, you're going to be satiated. And one of my celebrity clients, Toni Braxton, that's her go-to meal. So she loves her fillet of fish. If she's on the go and there's nothing else going on, and think, she has lupus. So here it is. I'm recommending go and have a fillet of fish, and there's no flare-ups. It's not her staple. She doesn't eat that every day. That's not where she spends all her time. But the reality is life is life. And sometimes you're driving and you're hungry. What are you going to do? Well, drive through. Make it work and keep on moving.
I like that. Make it work and keep on moving. So do you, and I have a question here that was asked. You said earlier in the show when we first started how hard it is, how difficult it is for us to eat healthy. And when I go into the store, I always notice the placement of things in the store. I always notice that, the veggies are usually kind of out of the way. But your cookies and everything, when you walk in the store, that is the first thing I see is the big display. The Super Bowl, was just last Sunday, and when I walked into the local Walmart, when you walk in, a huge display of the chips and the dips and all of those things. But then when I go over to the right, I have to make my way around the cakes, the pies, and everything to get to the fruits and veggies. Is that designed that way, Robert? Is that designed for us to, you know, not eat healthy to keep the doctors in? You know, you got to keep that money spread around. You know.
Well, here's the deal. This is what I always share with people. I say, look, the reality is this: we live in a world where, at least in America, where food is available everywhere. If you're dead broke, we have food banks that will actually help you out. I mean, we live in a great place. So the land of plenty. And unfortunately, because of our nutrition intelligence, we're not eating in a way to be lean and have high energy. We're over consuming. It's like if the food is there, we just eat it. Well, I always tell people when you go grocery shopping, make sure you're not hungry, number one.
Yes.
Number two, I love to go to the center aisles. Most of my colleagues will say, stay out of the middle aisles. Only skirt around the outside. That's where the fruits are and the vegetables.
Right.
I'm like, why? I want the chips. You know why? Because I know how to eat them. I want the stuff that's in the middle. I like licorice because I know how to eat it. Now, if you don't know how to eat, yeah, let's just put people on a diet mentality and let's not educate them. And let's say, okay, you guys don't deserve to have knowledge, so just stay on the outside. I mean, come on. To me, that's like a total insult. Whenever I hear a dietitian run up on TV and say, stay out of the middle aisles, I'm like, what world do you live in? Because there is going to be a football game. And there is going to be like people come over and you want to have some chips or something available for people. That's the way it is. So let's educate them. I'm telling you, at the end of the day, you'll see in time. We all live long enough. It's all about education. Because if you and I hung out together, right? I used to have this professional athlete that paid me a ton of money, and I would be with him like all the time. And I would always say, look, I don't need to be with you all the time. I mean, here, let me teach you. But he didn't want that. He wanted to be codependent, right, on me, which most people wouldn't argue that because they want to get paid. But it bothered me. Well, at the end of the day, I remember him saying, man, if you're with me, I can go anywhere and eat. I go, yeah, but I don't have to be with you to get that. So really, so my take home is, look, if you had my methodology, you learned my system, you own it. There is no place you couldn't go to make it work. Like I was at Sweetie Pie's in St. Louis, Missouri. I went inside and I made a fat-burning meal eating their food. I had fried chicken and then what we call slow carbs, black-eyed peas, cabbage, and I was good. Right? Now, if I wanted the mac and cheese, I wouldn't have got fried chicken. I would have got grilled chicken.
Okay, right. So it's about substituting.
It's about choices and being aware of.
Yes. And then you feel empowered instead of someone saying, oh, you can't have that. Stay away from that. That's bad. And then the last part, in answer to your question, because you said, like, how do we know, like, we want to be healthy? I always ask people, and I've sat on many boards, and no one ever answers this. I've been on CNN and asked the same question, Fox and Friends. I'll say, who is the person that defines what makes a food healthy or unhealthy? I would love to meet that person before I die.
Wow.
Who is the one who defines that? Because, for instance, let's say that you tell me that organic grass-fed, not grass-fed, but organic chicken breasts, cage-free, is healthy. I would say, okay, well, I have friends who are vegans who will tell you that it's not. So who's right?
True.
And then you have, meat eaters. I tell a vegan that what they're eating is not healthy. But they both sides swear that what they're eating is healthy. And if you're not doing what they're doing, you're wrong and you're eating unhealthy.
And that what I was going to say, that's a big attitude that people have. If you're not eating the way they're eating, oh, you're not eating at Whole Foods. Oh, you're not eating organic this. Oh, and we just went through this, Robert, with the milk. We just went through this with the milk. And my children are back on whole milk because one of the things that I noticed, I have my grandchildren that are here too, and they're very small and they're underweight. And they were told that they should drink 0% milk. I thought that was just the weirdest thing. I couldn't understand. I was like, well, this is water. This is nothing. There's no protein. There's nothing in it. And so I went on my own strengths from growing up as a kid. We drank whole milk. You know, we did. We drank whole milk. We didn't have as many broken bones. We weren't as sickly. And so I just said, forget it. I took the water milk, I poured it out, and in my refrigerator right now, whole milk.
Well,
and I feel better. I even feel, and I love milk. I feel better.
Well, you know what?
With
You know, I have 3 very good friends of mine. They're 3 physicians, family practitioners. They live pretty close, and they have young kids, and all 3 of them feed their kids only whole milk for exactly what you just said. So they're getting it. People are getting it.
And it's interesting because today, guess what? On the news, I watched Good Morning America this morning, and it just makes me sit here and shake my head because this morning they were saying more people are turning away from whole milk and going to the much healthier milks, the soy milk, the almond, milks and all those. And I was just sitting there and I was just like scratching my head. I was like going, well, you know what? I just started drinking whole milk again because I know, what works. But yet I turned on the television. Once again, that misconception, it's on TV, so it must be true. It's on the internet, so we must believe it.
And the dietitian who's speaking that way, trust me, they're drinking almond milk at home. And they forget to tell everybody that when you go almond milk, okay, 8 ounces of almond milk yields about 1 gram of protein. Okay, 1 gram of protein. And 1 gram of protein is equivalent of like 3 to 4 almonds. So you have 3 to 4 almonds in that milk that makes that milk. So what's the rest of that? It's evaporated cane juice, which is sugar, and water. That's it. So you're not getting the 9 grams of protein that you would get in regular milk. So
I little know, in fact, that you don't know about me, Robert, is I worked for a national weight loss company about 20 some odd years ago, and then I worked for another one. And then I was the project manager and sort of ghost author for a Bob Proctor book called Perfect Weight. And I also ran a diabetic low-carb food store in my past. And here's the thing, this is what I found. It's not about eating all this really healthy food. It's about what you say, obedience and moderation. Is that those are the 2 words you used, right? It really is. Like I saw a picture of myself from probably about 9 years ago, and I showed John. I was like, "Oh my God, I never saw this." I was on a movie set. I've done it all. I'm a jack of all trades. So we were out location scouting, and somebody was taking pictures, and there's pictures of me, and I'm looking at myself going, "Oh my God, I look great," because I was in really good shape because I was just watching what I ate. I didn't sit down and have Twizzlers and Ruffles and a Thai latte all in one go, right? I watched my sugar intake. I still ate what I wanted. Does that make sense? But I wasn't exercising near as much as I do today, and I was in better shape then than I am today. Like physically. Like I looked at that and I went, and I thought I was fat. So I realized I need to go back to eating that way. And so I'm going to go to McDonald's and have a fillet of fish. And
have fries too.
And you see, no fries. I used to eat that way. I used to not eat fries. But if I ate fries, I wouldn't get the burger. Like, that's how I would eat.
You were naturally doing it. And all I'm doing is just going back and showing people how to do it, and it's giving them the power. But we got to cut through all the confusion because there's so much out there. And
so how do we do that?
Well, you know what?
How do we do that? How do we educate people and cut through all this jargon and red tape and soy and 2% and all that? How do we do that?
Well, the first thing is they got to get my system, right? So I created a system, and this is not sales. This is really about information. It's a system that's going to give them the knowledge. So there's no tie-in to supplements. There's no tie-in to stringing them along so that they're paying for this and paying for that. I give them a system, and then the system is there, and it teaches them in 3 different areas, right? You have DVDs, which now we're moving into streaming video where they can watch it. So with their eyes, they can see me build fat-burning meals at fast food and at fine dining restaurants and at casual dinings like at Applebee's or Olive Gardens. And then they can read it. I give them journals, it's there, and I give them recipes, and then they can feel it. So it's like an experiential. And then they own it. Once you own it, I mean, even if you go on a cruise and you don't work out as much and you do overindulge, you're aware that you're overindulging, and as soon as you get off that boat, you know exactly how to eat in order to get back to where you most want to be, where you feel the healthiest and you feel the best.
And where can they get that? Where can they get your system?
At my website, they can learn more, dietfreelife.com. Everything is Diet Free Life. So if you notice, my Twitter is Diet Free Life. The Facebook is Diet Free Life. Diet Free Life, man. You know, our promise is in the name, and that's what we're putting out there. It's like let's give up the diets, let's walk away from it, and let's embrace a lifestyle.
You mentioned really briefly, you just said it, and it kind of went completely out, which I love. You said supplements. I hate that word. You mentioned supplements because to me, supplements, all they do is mask things. You know, you're filling your body up with all these supplements, and then when you stop taking them, you're back. You're eating again. You know, you're hungry again. I have done so many different. I hate to say diets. So many different. I guess I will say diets over the years that have all. I get to a level, I taper off, and then that's it. You know, I just stay
diet
there.
Where you have like 2 shakes, breakfast and lunch. I know
yeah, and I still do that. I still drink, you know, do my protein, but it just leveled off. You know what I mean? I started off, you know, I lost flat out 20 pounds right off, and then it just like tapered down. Then they were like, well, take these supplements or try these, you know. And pretty soon I couldn't poo, you know. I was wide awake at night, you know. I mean, then I'm just honest because you know we think
insomniac. That's really good.
I know, right? A backed up insomniac, exactly. So I mean, and then everyone said, well, try this. You know, this wasn't meant for you. Try this, or try the Jenny Craig. And I'm throwing names out there because I've been through everything. I'm going to be honest. You name it, I pretty much, except the coffee enema. I just can't do that.
And on that note, it is time to put it in park. We've gone over the speed limit tonight. And with that coffee enema comment, it's time to come to a screeching halt. Robert,
I know.
dietfreelife.com. Check him out. You've just been an amazing guest, and I know we'll stay good friends on Facebook, and we'll come and visit you in Ventura, California.
Yes, that would be great. And then my wife will have a Canadian she can hang out with.
That's right. About.
Robert, do you want to say anything to our listeners and viewers that might, you know, need something to perk them up to get on your site tomorrow? Give them something. Tell them something.
You know what? I'll end with this. I know that hope is very, very, very important because most people have given up on wanting to lose weight. They've given up on wanting to become healthier. They've lost hope. And so if they would just give it one last shot, just have a little bit of hope. And if they don't, just embrace my hope until theirs kicks in. Because, you know, I think that, I do this because this is my gift. And I am on a mission to get the information to people. So just connect with me. You know, we have a free newsletter on my website, and it goes out. We don't try to sell people to death. We give free recipes. And our goal is, look, just give the people. You know what I mean? And after a while, they'll get what they need or what they can afford so they can continue to live what we're promising, and that's a diet-free life. And thank you guys for having me on the show, and I really appreciate this time.
That is awesome. Siobhan, you want to add anything before I say something about our missing co-hostess?
Well, We're all about giving. We understand the whole giving concept, and you can find our book, Journey of the Soul Car. We're giving it away to everybody. We want everybody to have a copy of it. We've taken it off the market. We're just giving it away. So make sure you go to the website, theattitudeshift.com, and grab your copy of Journey of the Soul Car and find out what an attitude shift is and all about awareness and some of the amazing things our guests from the past have told us are written in that book.
Cool.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Siobhan. And Ariel got sick. I'm just going to throw it out there. She got sick. She had to leave the area. And so we want to send her the best. She's down the hall. I'll go check on her. Want to send the best to her. And as I'm preparing to munch on that Cheeto, I want to say thank you, Robert. I'm going to be in touch. I'm going to go to your page and do some more exploring. And maybe we'll have you back on in a few months to see if I followed that diet-free life. I have a mouth with Cheeto on it.
Hey, you know
What?
What?
Oh, he's frozen!
He froze on me because I'm eating Cheetos.
It's frozen fillet of fish.
Frozen. So I'm going to say on behalf of Siobhan, Ariel, myself, we thank Robert for joining us. And I wish he would have came back on to say something, but we'll keep in touch, and you'll find us on Facebook, and you'll see we're still connecting with Robert on Facebook. There he is.
The longest outro we've ever had. There he is. Robert.
I know. Thank you so much, Robert, for being there. In the interim, everyone, enjoy your evening. Go get some Cheetos and go and like diet-free life. Go like it. Go do it. Eat some Cheetos. Till we meet again, I don't know who's coming on next week. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. The month of love. And we'll talk again soon. Mwah. Peace out. Keep shifting.